Thank you for having me, guys. It's not very rock and roll putting me a cup of tea on that speaker over there, is it? So I've come from Leeds, and this first one is a bit about how poetry has changed my life. And it's called Then and Now. The old crowd I used to be part of, they all laugh when they hear I do poetry. You see, I've gone from being one of them to a complete stranger, but that's okay with me. Because it seems to me they're all still living in those teenage ways. Mad nights, no sleep, too much of whatever. I'm not going home for days and days. Now I'm glad I can use my story, visit schools and stand in front of a class, and let all those impressionable teens know that life is a thing of the past. Because yeah, I've been to prison. And yeah, I've done ridiculous amounts of drugs. And yeah, I used to do bench press, never miss leg day, and always finish with shrugs. But that was all for appearance. Everything at that time was fake. And now that I've got my shit together, there's too much to lose now, there's too much at stake. I've been watching videos on YouTube, don't flop battles, poets versus MCs, and it's as if they all have this same opinion that all poets like flowers and trees. They think we all love herbal tea, eat vegan and dress the same way. Now if I ever bump into one of those MCs, I'll definitely have something to say. Because all they go on about is guns and being hard, and they do all talk the talk. But the difference between this poet and MCs is that I've actually walked that walk. You see, things have changed since I were young. We now live in a copy and paste generation where we don't express ourselves with words anymore, we choose emojis with animation. Life for me today is completely different, it's less hectic, and that's just how I want it. The opportunity to sit and write these poems all day, or even just peacefully sit. Poetry has opened my eyes to the world, I see things in a different light. It's almost as if I've been reborn again, or all of a sudden been given sight. I've never bothered with Parliament, and I don't understand all these political views. And this might come across as ignorant, but I've never really paid much attention to the news. I've never really thought outside of Leeds, but one thing I am aware is that nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I've been reading up on problems that are relevant today, like kids with different aspirations all been taught the exact same way. And I know it's unrealistic to say that every student should have their own tutor, but remember, kids may only be a fraction of our population, but they are the whole fraction of our future. And we don't teach our kids the life skills that they'll one day need to know, like how to budget, how to love, how to cook food or make it grow. Children's dreams and talents are getting missed, and some home lives lead straight to criminality. And to those kids, my advice would be, don't let your circumstances define your reality. Let's use this gift of poetry for good and open a child's potential like an automatic door. And instead of watching their hearts grow sore, we could make their hearts grow and soar. Make them hang on to every word and fall in love with the things you say. And who knows, you might inspire that child to write a poem about their life one day. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I do a lot of volunteering with a company that I started up called Life Experience, bit of a plug. And we do a lot of stuff in schools and prisons. People who've been through stuff in their life come and they talk openly about their sort of situations as a way to sort of inspire people to open up about theirs. And one of the struggles we have volunteering with young people is they make a lot of money doing things they shouldn't do at an age where they can't actually find a job. So it's about trying to convince them to look further ahead about consequences and stuff. So this one is called Just One. The youth of today, they don't listen because they think it's cool, the thought of going to prison. I spend my life trying to get them to think about the choices, and sometimes it feels like I'm speaking in foreign voices because you tell them ways to change. You tell them there's change to be made. You tell them there's a whole wide range of things to help them change, but they're too afraid. So all you can do is hope. Hope that the advice that you gave on better ways to make cash register and just hand it over, when deep down inside, you know the entire time they're thinking, open the cash register and just hand it over. We need to invent time travel, because while they think that they know more, the older them could settle the score, because there's a score to be settled. And every rose will have a thorn, but every thorn is outnumbered by rose petals. And rose petals are the bit that everyone likes. And every naughty kid has that rose-tinted light, that ability to change and walk away from a fight. We just need to find a light switch and slowly change the balance, making a light switch. And yeah, it is a challenge, but what doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. And in my view, you can't preach to them until you've made a change in you. Now, this is a subject where education struggles to teach, so we use our life experiences and we go into schools to preach, because they need to know there's a lesson they could learn, but they won't listen, because the money that they earn being dishonest is a hell of a lot more than they'll ever earn living honest. So you tell them about consequences, about friends who have passed, about awful prison food and the effects of it on your ass, about how the only type of money that can be confiscated is the type that you make fast. But even if one listens, and you change that one's perspective, and they finally hear your message and they find a new way to live, then it's worth it. And it's job done. Because when it comes to saving lives, I'm happy we've just won. Thank you very much for listening.